Hello YouTube. This is an article in today's Sunday Times entitled 2 more ministerial cabs for hire uncovered. Now what this is the latest expose by a British newspaper of members of Parliament, or in this case actually ex-members of Parliament, who have prostituted themselves by selling their influence within government to allow corporations to worm their way into government, and in so doing work to get laws changed in their favour so that those said corporations or businesses are able to exploit areas of our society or parts of our society that they were previously unable to exploit. Now this has been going on for many years in the UK. Our government has basically now been usurped by the corporations to such a point where the government plainly doesn't act in the interests of the people any longer. It acts in the interests of the corporations, those that have paid it to do so over a long period of time. These two clowns, and I'll call them clowns simply because they show an utter contempt for the people of the UK. All they're interested in is serving their own ends. Now just bear with me a moment. Anyone who thinks in the UK that the government acts on behalf of the people, all I can say to you is you're a fool. Government does not act on behalf of the people any longer. Government acts on behalf of those that have paid for it to do what's required for it to serve its real masters, which are the corporations. Okay, I'll read you the top sections which I find the most interesting, and then I may have a little bit more to say on the subject. 2 more former Labour ministers have been secretly recorded offering to exploit their government contacts and experience to help commercial clients for fees of up to £2,500 a day. Andy Ingram, the former Armed Forces Minister, said he could draw on a pool of out-of-work ministers who could be used to harness their government contacts. Richard Cabourn, the former Sports Minister, said he may be in line for a peerage. Now, for those of you not in the know, if he receives a peerage, that'll make him become a Lord, and he'll then move up to the House of Lords, which will again in time allow him to demand more money for his services. That would boost his chances of extracting valuable information from the corridors of Westminster. The cash for access scandal has already claimed 3 Blairite ex-cabinet ministers. Now, just as a bit of a sideline here, they're called Blairites obviously because they originally served under Tony Blair when he was the Prime Minister. Now, Tony Blair has been revealed, has been working over the last few years to cover up many millions of pounds that he's been paid by the oil corporations that have moved into Iraq after he and George Bush opened the door for them to get in there through the illegal invasion of Iraq. Okay, a little bit further. The cash for access scandal has already claimed 3 Blairite ex-cabinet ministers, suspended last week by Labour after they were exposed for offering to help clients lobby for fees of up to £5,000 per day. On Friday, John Lyon, the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards, said he would hold an inquiry into the trio. This weekend, a YouGov poll of more than 1,500 people for the Sunday Times shows that by nearly 2 to 1, 49 to 29%, voters agree with Nick Clegg, the Liberal Democrat leader, that this is the most corrupt Parliament in Britain's history. 3/4 of the people, 74%, believe there should be an inquiry into claims by former ministers that their lobbying had changed policy. Okay, I won't go any further with this as far as reading it, but I have a few things I'd like to say. To anyone in the UK who thinks that government works on behalf of the people, I would just ask you to look around and see how companies like British Gas or the electric utility companies, companies of that nature. For years now, these companies have systematically ripped their customers off, and whenever things go bad, as they invariably do, like for instance with the banks, what happens in the end? I mean, the banks have obviously ripped their customers off for years, whether it be overcharging for going overdrawn or things of that nature. And in the end, whenever the shit hits the fan, it's always the same. It's always the same crap coming from government. We were asleep at the wheel. We weren't monitoring these things. This must have slipped through the net. But this is not by accident. This is by design. These things are deliberately, government is paid to turn a blind eye to these things, which is exactly what we're seeing in this story here. Government is paid to turn a blind eye and allow these companies to get away with the things they do. Well, I would like it to be known, I have no faith whatsoever in the British government, and I understand that by voting for any of the parties, basically it makes no difference. They're all as bad as one another. Government is so rotten to the core now that it's a disgrace. It acts on behalf of the corporations, and basically that's it. That's the crunch of the matter, and that's the truth of the matter. So government needs to be changed. We've had enough. I'm sick and tired of the lies, the thieving that goes on, whether it be what's happened recently with them all being caught stealing money on their expenses in mass. We're not talking about a few of them. We're talking about millions and millions and millions of pounds being stolen, and again, nothing is done about it. You know, they have these investigations which become a sham, and nothing is done. I'm sick and tired of the lying, the cheating and the dishonesty, and I want something done about it. Okay, thank you for your time. Bye bye.